Over the last few years, we've not had that many horror games that disturb you as much as they should. We've had some titles that have had some scary moments, and something that could frighten you at the time, but we haven't had that many that make a stance on the classic horror experience. I can think of a few times when I've come across moments in games where they have shaken me for brief spells, but they never scared me as much as, say, Silent Hill 2's themes or Resident Evil's Lisa Trevor. But those games came out years and years ago. I was wondering when there would be a true horror experience that would match the games that I mentioned. This all changed when I played Resident Evil Village. If you haven't played this game yet, well, this video might spoil a few things. For the purpose of this video, we are only going to talk about the story up until this point, as there's a lot of twists and turns later in the game. We don't want to completely ruin it for someone that hasn't played the game yet. Is that cool? Okay, let's go. As you've already seen from the thumbnail, the moment we are going to talk about is the giant baby fetus chapter in Resident Evil Village. The whole area is ominous and really well paced, but what appears is nightmarish. You enter a doll maker's area known as Beneviento House that's resided near a mountain. You then take an elevator underground and the fun begins. You are surrounded by dolls and there's a mannequin of Ethan's dead wife, Maya, laying on the table. What follows next is many short puzzles. The lights are constantly changing colour and the radio is playing out past conversations with your dead wife. Each time you complete a task, something changes. You eventually make your way to the well of the house and start to hear a baby laughing and crying. Things start to heat up as you then head back and you get a glimmer of hope as you can see the exit is in sight. What follows next is the giant baby blocking the way. It's disfigured and looks threatening. It starts screaming and crawling towards you, and now you are left with one choice: run and hide. One of the reasons why this moment in the game works so well is through its moments leading up to it. The story took a U-turn after you finished the castle segment of the game. It's revealed that your baby that has been abducted is technically dead. The head of the baby is inside of a jar which you have been carrying. Pretty fucked up, I know, but you are told by the shady merchant that Rose, the baby, is able to be reanimated if you get back the other body parts. This is amplified when you are given the location of the places and the people that hold the other body parts. This moment is honestly one of the most disturbing things that I have seen. A huge disfigured baby crying out and trying to devour you. Look at my first playthrough clip here. I see the thing for a split second, panic, turn around and run. As you can see from other confrontations with enemies, I get close to see what the threat is before taking it out. With this encounter, it just ruined me and had to get to safety immediately. That's what sort of the game expects you to do the first time around, unless you have the guts to face it head on. This feeds into classic horror, as we are usually shown less of the monster. As Ridley Scott, the director of Alien, pointed out, you don't show the monster too many times because you'll get used to him, and you never want to get used to him, ever. This is true with my first encounter with the thing. I immediately legged it to the locker and later under the bed. Both times, all I could see was a blurred figure in the distance patrolling the area. Just seeing a morphed figure of baby Rose is pretty messed up. When I was feeling more brave in my second attempt, I got up close and behind it. The light from the torch catches this monstrosity and it glistens. It looks wet. If you get a chance to view it from the back, you will see that it leaves a blood trail as it crawls along. It also has the umbilical cord still attached, acting as a tail. Overall, it's just a really well put together monster. If by any chance you get caught by this thing, well, let's just look what the outcome is. It straight up shoves you down its oddly shaped mouth, put it that way, and eats you whole. The lack of cutscenes in the build-up is probably one of the best things about it. I love this effect so much. It just turns up. Let's look at last year's outing in the Resident Evil 3 remake. This does it all wrong. The main threat of this game is just one cutscene after another, and each reveal is less stressful. The baby moment happens so fast, and with no warning either. It just pops in frame and heads towards you screaming. The hilarious thing is, I tried looking up online on what this abomination is called, expecting it to be given a terrifying name. Its given name is just baby. That makes it even scarier than before, as it just sounds so innocent. The horror just doesn't stop there though, as there's more to this terrifying chapter. You still need to track down the puppeteer, still in the same location you find yourself in. It's weird because possessed dolls in films never really bothered me compared to say aliens and monsters, because moments ago I was running away from this huge abomination and now I'm totally shook up. It made the hide and seek jump scares with the dolls more effective. If you wanted the added scare factor, I would recommend playing it with the headphones and the lights out, as this always maximises everything. I did, and now I live to regret it. One of my least favourite things about this game is the searching for collectibles and money. I think Village would really benefit if these were removed from the game to make it more streamlined. Look at this earlier encounter that I had. It should have been fast paced and frightening. Instead, I'm getting distracted by picking up stuff while she's trying to attack me. It's just not practical. I'm actually focusing more on the shiny stuff rather than running away. Inside the dollhouse area, it pretty much removes that. Instead, you are forced to find missing parts that are required to escape. This works so much better as you are less distracted and you focus more on the monster. What makes this scene worse is the surroundings. You can see most of the items that you encountered at the start of the game. Family photos, abstracts, and stuff like that. I originally thought, what am I hiding from, when I saw the lockers that you could hide in? It's pretty clever actually, as I gathered I would be hiding from the doll Anze. But thinking back, why would I be hiding from a 2-foot doll? Sorry for saying the word hiding 4 times. Jesus. Speaking of hiding, there's not a lot of places that you can take shelter in. It makes you claustrophobic trying to navigate the tight corridors and dark rooms. The lack of characters in this area is quite worrying for the player. If you think about it, you are in an underground dollhouse in the middle of nowhere. You have your baby's body parts to look for, and you can hear your wife's voice while being chased by this thing. No one is ever going to save you from this scenario. You would usually expect someone to come and save the day in films, but in this instance, you've got no one. The build up to this moment is heightened by the lack of enemies. Even Dimitrescu had hordes of zombies and her 3 daughters acting as mini-bosses before the final encounter with her. With the Bienvenido house, it's just you. The lead up to this is also great as you are shown footage of the well and emotions are intensified as you don't really understand what's going on. The overall sound design in this game is awesome. The music in this section is all but silence for the most part. You are sort of left alone with your thoughts. That is until you come across the well. Once you go deeper underground, the disturbing music starts to play. It is coupled with the baby laughing. Also, the radio constantly flickering on and off with the conversations going on, the loud footsteps in this area, and the baby saying the words like dada. It all combines to make you panic. If you're unlucky enough to get consumed by this thing, you hear it say, yum. I honestly can't think of how this moment in Village could have been executed better. I always find that puzzles and games can unsettle me depending on the situation. Game devs can make them macabre and play with your head, almost disorientate you at times. In the dollhouse area, it is packed with lots of these instances. Some of the stuff that you pick up and interact with is just unsettling, like pulling the limbs off of the mannequin and washing a bloody wedding ring in the sink. It all adds to the tension as you might expect. The first thing that happens when you enter this area is that all your weapons and items are removed. This is definitely the right call. Can you imagine turning this thing into a boss battle? Yeah, it would work to an extent, but this is a much better approach as throughout the whole game, you've shot your way out of danger. On the flip side, in a previous video on the Outlast series, I talked about how the game was crying out for a weapon or a distraction of sorts because the overall game just gets stale fast. Whereas in this moment in Village, it is completely fresh and welcome. Just to go back to the general feeling again, a lot of the scenarios and monsters you've come across up to this point have already been played out, whereas this, you haven't really seen this thing before. On the whole, Village has many dark and dingy areas, but this might just be the worst. When the baby appears, you can hardly see a thing as your field of view is very low. If the area had brighter lighting, it probably would have failed. It's almost traumatizing looking at this thing up close in a dark environment. So there we have it. This event in Resident Evil Village is one of the best horror moments in gaming that I've ever experienced. It will stick with me for a very long time, and I'm not looking forward to replaying this section of the game anytime soon. I'm telling you, nightmare fuel. Now that this moment is over, I think I might have a chamomile tea and try and calm down as much as humanly possible. Cheers for making it to the end. Do you agree that this might be the best horror moment that we've had in years? If not, let me know in the comments which moments from other games stand out for you. And now for the minigame. Can you guess the 4 games that I showed in the Great Moments in Gaming intro? If you know them, drop the answers down below. Thanks for stopping by, and have a wonderful day.